Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another Arc Garage video. Today I'm gonna be fixing the broken fuel flap on my Alfa Romeo Giulietta. If we take a closer look here, you can see that the fuel flap is all wobbly, and this is actually a common issue on these cars. The plastic pin which holds it in place breaks off, and this is the result. So I'm gonna remove it starting with this Phillips screw right here. Now I'm gonna undo the fuel filler cap and I'm gonna pull the whole assembly out. It can be a bit tricky since the rubber has to go over the fill hole, and you also got two plastic clips, one on the top, one on the bottom. Alright, here it is, and you can see the smaller hole on the bottom. That's where the fuel breather hose goes. Here are the clips that I was talking about. There's one more on the bottom. Let's take a closer look what's going on here. Now this white plastic piece obviously broke off from the pin that goes all the way through. So I'm just gonna remove it. Now here are the two small plastic clips on the bottom of the pin, and I'm just gonna use these pliers to break them off and push the pin inside. There it is, and you can see exactly where the top part broke off. I'm gonna measure the thickness of this plastic pin, and as you can see it's 4 millimeters thick. Now the trickiest part to recreate is gonna be this ridge which runs alongside of it. And if I take this fuel flap, you can see the void and how exactly it goes in. So my plan is gonna be to recreate this plastic one using a metal rod. You can see this one is also 4 millimeters thick. So the next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut it lengthwise, maybe a third of the way in, using this small grinder. Alright, here it is. Now the line is not the straightest, but it doesn't really have to be, and here you can see how deep I've actually cut in. Now I'm gonna make this cut just a bit deeper, and I'm gonna cut a small piece of aluminum sheet, and I'm gonna try to recreate the same ridge as you've seen on the plastic piece. So here's what I had in mind. As you can see, I've basically just cut a small piece of the aluminum sheet and put it inside of that cut. I left a wider part at the top so I can slide it onto the plastic wire mount. I'm just gonna grind some more of the material off. Now keep in mind that this doesn't have to be a tight fit. Once you put it inside the lid, it's gonna be held together. Next I'm gonna take that white piece that broke off and I'm gonna drill 2 holes through it. The bigger one is gonna be so that metal rod can go through, and the smaller one is gonna hold that aluminum piece. Small hole is going to be connected to the big one, and it's going to be at the slight angle. The main point here is that the wider part of the aluminum piece fits tight, so I don't have to use glue or anything else. Okay, here's that top part all drilled out. So essentially what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna push that metal rod through it, and here it is. I think it's gonna be perfect. So I'm gonna put the fuel flap back in its place, and I'm gonna push this whole thing through. Now you can see that everything works as it should. The fuel flap can open freely. There is no obstructions or anything like that. However, I'm not done yet. There's still some of this rod protruding on the bottom. So I'm just gonna shorten it and drill a small hole for the safety pin. There's the hole right there. I don't know how well can you see it on the camera. Now it is a bit tricky to drill through this metal rod, but it can be done. Here's my safety pin. I had to grind the sides a little bit so it can go through that hole. So I'm just gonna push it through. And I'm just gonna separate these ends using my flathead screwdriver. Now the main reason why I've decided to go this way, I didn't want to get another plastic pin which has the potential to break in a couple months or a year or whatever. So I've decided to fix this myself. If you don't want to go through all this process, you got several options. You can buy a new plastic pin, you can just put the screw through it and it will still work, however not as the original one. Again, I'm gonna try out everything. You can see that the fuel flap opens as it should and everything is nice and tight and in its place. Last thing left to do is this spring. I'm gonna put it back in. Here it is. Now you can see what its purpose is. It basically just holds the flap in open or closed position. I've put everything back together, and as you can see, the fuel flap works perfectly. Anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope you find it useful. If you liked it, hit a like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of Alfa.